And you're talking Paul Slacker's Good News Broadcast, and we're with Billy Mitchell. Billy is the tour director and in-house historian for the Apollo Theater Foundation. Great job, which I believe you had since you were an usher.
Yes, yeah, that's true. Yeah, well, back in the '60s, I was the one of the gophers or one of the errand boys for the Apollo Theater, and the theater closed. But when it reopened in 1984, Percy Sutton, I was hired by him to become an usher, and I've had literally every job here at the Apollo since then.
Let me ask a question here, since you are the historian on Just Because, sadly, Lena Horne just passed away.
Yeah.
Did she ever sing there?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. She sang here, she performed here, she used to come to events here and shows here at the Apollo Theater, and I've never seen her perform, ever, but I saw her back in the 80s come to an event here at the theater. And I normally don't get, in awe of people because, you meet so many celebrities. When she walked in, man, I got to tell you, my mouth dropped and I just stared at her. I could not believe royalty had walked through the door. It was just an incredible moment for me.
Okay. Well, so tell us what happened today.
Well, today we started, which will become a series of laying down plaques honoring our Apollo legends, the people who have been inducted into the Apollo Theater Hall of Fame. Their plaque with their names on it are being put into the pavement in front of the Apollo Theater. And it's just a perfect day for that. We've honored so many people today, and we're gonna do more, as time goes by. As a matter of fact, Aretha Franklin and Michael Jackson is going to be inducted into the Apollo Theater Hall of Fame next month, and eventually their names will be also put in a plaque and laid down in front of the Apollo Theater.
I think Aretha's going to be singing that day as well.
That is true. That is so very true, and it's just incredible. Today we honored Gladys Knight and the Pips, Smokey Robinson, Little Richard, Ella Fitzgerald, Quincy Jones, Patti Labelle and the Bluebells, and the godfather of soul, James Brown.
Whoa, jeepers creepers.
Yes, indeed.
Now, you actually, even with regard to Michael Jackson, you used to come down, I believe you grew up in Westchester, right? And then
yes,
you came
Mount Vernon. I was born and raised in Mount Vernon.
I sang in a choir in Mount Vernon growing up, but I grew up in Tarrytown.
Okay.
And you were the fifth of 14 children. Did I have
that
right?
Correct. That is correct.
God. So, blessed be. And so, you saw Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5 start their career. What was it with them that you saw as a young man?
Well, what happened was I had moved from Mount Vernon to the Bronx in 1964. And, I was running errands for the Apollo, and I did that from, 64 to maybe 66. Then I stopped running errands. I had gotten a real part-time job. I remember I graduated from high school in 1969. I was going to Evander Childs High School in the Bronx, and me and my buddies, we decided to go out and celebrate graduating. On that particular night, we said, let's go down to the Apollo Theater and check out Amateur Night. And that was the night that Ralph Cooper, the host of the show, introduced this boy group, and he says, ladies and gentlemen, take a listen to this group. Our next guest, please give it up for the Jackson Brothers. And here comes Michael at 9 years old, walking on the stage with his brother. And when I tell you they electrified that audience, it was magical. But the thing about that is we had seen so many others, young, talented kids come there. We thought, it's just another good group. Nobody's going to pick them up and take them to another level. But later on that year, I'm listening to the radio, and the announcer says, we got this new group on Motown. Take a listen to the song. The song was called ABC is E, and he says, ladies and gentlemen, those are the Jackson 5, the new group on Motown. And I thought, wait a minute, maybe those are the same kids that were at the Apollo for Amateur Night, and they were, So I've seen Michael start his career at the Apollo. I was here the last time he actually walked in this building to perform, which was in 2002. So we've watched his career and admired the work that he's done for years and years.
And you had it during the moment of his passing. You did a lot of functions built around.
We did, and I hosted the tribute that we did to Michael Jackson. But I tell you, I had never seen so many people come to this theater from all over the world just to say that they were in the place where the Jacksons started their career, Michael started his career. And people came from everywhere, France, Germany, Japan, Italy, Australia. I mean, and the thing about it, they stood outside in lines that stretched out the door, around the corner, and up the block. And this happened all day long. Every hour we were let in 600 people for 15 to 20 minutes playing Jackson music, looking at some film clips, and then let in another 600. And this went on all day long. And people gathered out in the front of the theater and made up this, ad hoc little, gathering and grassroots of the community and people outside the community. They started dancing in front of the theater, playing Michael's music. I mean, it was something I'd never, ever seen before in my life.
Now, I'm sure it wouldn't hurt if you were online and you were like standing in front of Sylvia's at a Lenox Lounge, was it? I mean, you like went in and got something to eat?
Well, no, it didn't go that far over, but it did go to the corner of Adam Clayton Powell, then up to 132nd Street.
Oh my God, that is a distance, because you're on 125th Street, right?
Exactly. So it was something that we have never experienced before. And I don't think that we saw that ever again. But when James Brown died, we saw something similar. Oh my God, it was. And I also hosted his tribute. So these are people that I've seen and admired over the years, and I was given the honor of hosting their memorials at the theater.
Wow. Let's talk about the theater itself. I mean, it's magnificent theater to walk into. It's such a good feeling. The original seats. What tell us about the theater?
Well, the theater was built in 1914 as an all-white burlesque house. All right.
Really?
The building was actually called Hertig and Siemens New Burlesque Theater. All right. It was a burlesque house, and then when burlesque was outlawed in New York by the then mayor, Fiorello LaGuardia, new people bought the building in 1934, and they renamed the building the Apollo Theater. And 1934 was also the first time that they ever let an African American inside this building. But when we first came in, it was on January 26, 1934, but we came in not to sit as patrons. We came in to perform on a show put together by a black actor named Ralph Cooper. The show was called Jazz a la carte, and it was such a huge success that the owners said, "Ralph, my God, that's incredible what you people do. Is there another show that you would like to bring here featuring, some of your people?" And Ralph says, "Well, I have a radio show that I broadcast on radio station WMCA. It's called the Harlem Amateur Hour Radio Show." And when they worked out a deal to bring that show here, they renamed that radio show Amateur Night at the Apollo, which has now been going on every Wednesday night at 7:30 for 76 years.
Oh, my God.
Isn't that incredible? I mean, and Amateur Night launched the careers of everybody. I mean, the first female to win the talent competition, Amateur Night, was Ella Fitzgerald.
Really? Wow.
She was the very first ever to win. That was in 1934, but she was scheduled to come on as a dancer. Ella was studying dance. But on that night, there were some other dancers rehearsing, and she got intimidated on how good they were, that she turned to Cooper and says, I changed my mind. I'm not going to dance. He says, well, God, girl, what else can you do? You have a show to do. She says, well, I can sing a little bit. And he says, well, get out there and sing a song. And she sang a song, and she even got more nervous that she got frightened and forgot the words. So she got creative and started doing something that we all know now as scatting. And that's how it was created, by accident, by Ella on the stage of the Apollo in 1934.
I'm getting goose pimples, and I got a big smile on my face. Thank you.
It's incredible. The history in this theater, most people don't know the true history. Not even a lot of people live in this community. That's why it's important that people come and do a tour of the theater, learn the history, go to the dress rooms, take some pictures on the stage, sing a song on the stage, tell a joke on the stage. That's what we offer on our tours every day.
Really?
Yeah, we do tours. I conduct tours, 7 days a week. But the tours are done with groups of 20 people or more. However, if an individual or a smaller group wants to join a book tour, they can certainly do that.
Interesting. And so how do they go about doing that?
You just contact me and find out if a tour is available on the day in which you want to come. And my telephone number is area code 212-531-5337.
The future of the Apollo, how do you see it, Billy?
Oh, my God. I tell you, I am so honored that we have an incredible team right now, headed by our president, Ms. Jonelle Procope, and we're on the move. The Apollo Theater is doing very well. We've done some renovation of the theater over the last 8 years. The facade is only 7 years old. We have the lobby's been done over. We have brand new seats that's only about 5 years old, as well as a new stage. And brand new state-of-the-art dressing rooms. I mean, we've been doing some work here. We're not playing around. We're looking forward to the future.
Well, we've covered a lot of shows up there, and every time I come up there, I'm a happy dude. And all I can say, in the community itself, Harlem itself has flourished.
Yes, it has.
And it's a great place to go. I mentioned a couple of restaurants, a ton of good restaurants in the neighborhood, all around the place, and a lot of shopping now in the area, right?
That is absolutely correct. Absolutely.
So it's an attraction. You got a couple of great churches up there to hear some great music as well in town there, and it's been drastically changed, and it's so easy to get to. 125th Street, you can get all the subways, go to 125th Street.
That is true. You're absolutely correct.
And buses. So, and the people are moving up to the Harlem area.
Oh, yes. Harlem is being redeveloped. A lot of new businesses are moving to Harlem. A lot of new people who would have never thought of living in this community are now moving in. It's just a very progressive neighborhood that's doing very well. Very vibrant. We're the number 5th place in New York to visit amongst the tourists.
Was that so? That's great.
Madison Square Garden's one, the Statue of Liberty, Radio City Music Hall, the Empire State, and then there's the Apollo Theater.
All right. Well, well deserved, and
thank you, Paul.
Billy, you're a tribute and a man who's happy doing what he's doing, and
I love it.
That always makes everybody feel good.
Thank you.
Thanks, Billy, for sharing the good news with us.
Take care.
Look forward to seeing you.
Okay, my friend. Bye-bye.